Hey teachers, welcome back to day 4 of our Literacy Center reboot. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining me, and I've really loved having this time with you this week. I just love getting to know you guys and helping you out with challenges and then celebrating your successes and getting you excited for the new year. I hope everybody had a great New Year's Eve last night. Um, I know I did. I had a party here at my house last night, and we watched Wicked for Good. It was so good. Oh my gosh, so good. I love that movie. So a couple of things I need to tell you. My Wi-Fi is a little bit slow, so my face might freeze on the screen, and it's okay. Don't worry, it'll come right back, and my voice will keep going. So just ignore that, okay? It is okay. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. It is okay. So today is day 4 of our Literacy Center reboot. So I just want to remind you guys that if you are asking questions about our trainings, and anytime you have a question, ask in the comments, please. And I will put your name in a raffle for tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be our last day of our Literacy Center reboot. And so I'm going to put your name in a raffle, and I'm going to draw one lucky teacher at the end of tomorrow's Q&A to win a $30 Amazon gift card or TPT gift card. Okay. Hey, Ramona, how are you? Glad to see you. Happy New Year to you too. So glad you're here. She is from Eastern North Carolina. Oh my goodness. Wow. I've never been to North Carolina, but I've always wanted to go. So anytime you have a question, please ask in the comments, okay? And then tomorrow I'm going to put all of your questions together. I'm going to compile them together into a slideshow, and then I'll answer all your questions and then draw one lucky winner to win an Amazon gift card. So tell us something that you've learned so far that you will try in your classroom in January. Excuse me. You're going to tell us what centers have been your favorite ones that I've shared with you so far, and what activities are your favorite. That's something that you've seen in the centers that you're like, oh my gosh, I really want to try that. This is really fun. My kids are going to love this. It can be anything, something that you've learned from the behavior management the very first day. It could be anything from any kind of center that I taught you that was really interesting to you, maybe the one that you don't have yet that you're willing to try. So tell us what you're most excited about, okay? So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time to think about that and reflect, okay? All right, so day 4 today, we're going to talk about how to manage, when to change out, and what materials I use for these centers. So these centers are going to be the Game Center, Technology Center, Listening Center, Finger Puppet Center, Construction or STEM Center, Drama Center, Science Center, and Theme Center, okay? So those are the centers that I'm going to be teaching you today, okay? So the first one I'm going to talk to you about is construction and STEM. So construction mainly is just when they're going to be an engineer, okay? And they're going to be building certain structures. They're going to be putting together, building things. And so you could have a place in the classroom where you could have some stackable drawers. And in the stackable drawers, you could have Lincoln logs. You could have blocks. You could have magnetic tiles. You can have Legos, okay? Anything that they can build with. You can even have Play-Doh and popsicle sticks. So this little girl, you can see her sitting here on the floor. She just built a structure. She built a skyscraper here. And then she's got her ICANN cards here on the floor. She's got her center templates here on the floor. She's sitting here on the floor with her clipboard and pencil. And she's drawing a picture of what she built. And she's writing a sentence about it. I also have this kit that I got from Lakeshore. It has different gears on it. They can be a construction worker. They can wear hats, construction hats. And then they can try out different gears and learn about like pulleys and planes and all that good stuff. So you can put anything in your construction center that they can build with, which is really fun, okay? Now this center stays the same all year long. You do not have to change this out at all, okay? Now if you want to, you can. But I have had my construction center stay the same the whole time. So remember, when I introduce the centers, I have everybody sit together in front of the center. We all sit together. We all have a clipboard. We all have our green center folder. We have our center template. So I hand those out, and they have their pencil. And then what I do is I give everybody like a rundown of the center, and I show them what all is in the center. And then I pretend that I am playing at the center and I'm building something. Okay? So the I can cards say I can build with blocks or Legos. I can complete my center page. I can clean up my center. Okay? So basically the last two things on the I can cards are all the same. And then the construction center STEM template says, what did you build today? So if she built a skyscraper, she's going to write skyscraper, or I built a cabin, a log cabin. How did you build it? What did you use? I used Legos, or I used Lincoln Logs. Illustrate a picture of your structure. So then they're going to draw a picture of it here. Okay. So some supplies that you can have in your construction center, STEM center, are construction blocks, Legos, building blocks, simple machines, Lincoln Logs, connect tiles, magnetic tiles, construction worker hats, cup stacking, popsicle sticks, and Play-Doh. Okay, so here is the magnetic tiles right here. Here's the Lincoln Logs, and here's the Legos. So very easy center to set up. The kids love it. I only have one child that goes to each center at a time. And so just one at a time. And that really cuts down on the talking. It really cuts down on the silliness and helps them stay engaged, right? Okay, let's see. Ramona says, it's beautiful. We have several seasons a week. Oh, awesome. The Read the Room Center, I think my kiddos may be ready to try this. Oh, good. Ramona, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And then Susan says, just to let you know, I started using the bonus bucks last year and it works. The kids love them and do pay a fine if an infraction takes place, and they totally understand. Wow, Susan, that's amazing. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing those, ladies. That's awesome. Okay, so going on to technology. Now, it depends on what kind of technology you have at your school. You can have iPads, you can have Chromebooks, you can have computers. You also need headphones. So the games will stay the same all year. Technology is really an easy center, very easy. Okay, there's not much to it. So you can teach a new game when you have whole group math or whole group reading. You can show them a new game or a new app on the iPad that they can play with. So let's see. Some programs you can have, of course you need the I can cards. The I can cards say I can play my favorite game. I can complete my center page. I can clean up my center. So they're going to need their center template, which is right here. They're going to illustrate the game or activity that they played during the day, and then they're going to write a sentence about it. So you can have Epic. Epic is really fun. Storyline Online, Seesaw, Imagine Math, iStation, Prodigy, Zern, ABC Yaw. And then another one you could do is Amplify Boost. We started that this year. You could have a device cart. You could have chargers, okay? And of course, headphones. If you have headphones, if each child has a headphone set, which they should, then they just bring their headphones with them to the center, to the technology center. And they sit down next to the cart or next to the center, and then they will sit there and on the carpet or wherever and then play their game. So they have to illustrate their picture of the center they did, of the activity they did before they move on to the new center. Okay? So let's see. Ramona says, do you do every center every day? So, Ramona, if you go back and watch the first training about my behavior management, I share with you my rotation chart, okay? And every week, 4 kids have a choice of 4 centers a week, okay? So yes, basically the kids will do as many centers as they can during the week, but all of the centers are open, okay? And so I don't have like a rotation where I have a doorbell that they rotate to each center. They are free to choose whatever center's on their chart, however long it takes them. It might take them 5 minutes. It might take them 20 minutes. It depends on what activity they're doing. But they have to finish their center page before they go to a new center. And then as they're at centers, I'm calling up my reading groups. So I'm just pulling them from a center. And like I said, 1 kid per center, okay? Because that really cuts down on the talking. Let's see. Susan says, I really like the accountability templates for the centers, the folder ID to keep them in, and the I can cards. I feel like I can start this in January. Yay, Susan. That's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you, ladies, for sharing. So moving on to my listening center. Listening center is also very easy to set up. You could have a little table and chairs with a little stereo that has a CD player or a cassette player if you're still old school like me. You could have QR codes. The kids can scan a QR code. So these 3 pictures are not my center. I'll show you my center in just a minute. But these are just examples. So you could have these little holders with headphones with the books inside of the holder that clip onto a railing or a shelf, and they just can bring those to their desk to listen to the book. So the QR codes is something that I love to do. So let me show you what I do. My listening center consists of a poster with the story cover on it. And I have a QR code that is on the front of the cover that they scan. Now, this QR code is not their clever code. It is Screencastify. So what I do is I love to find on YouTube, or you could record it yourself. If you want to record your own yourself reading the book, that's fine too. But I go ahead and I just look on YouTube and I find my favorite video of that book that I want them to listen to. And then I record it on Screencastify. And then I go to ChatGPT and I say, hey, can you please make a QR code using this link to Screencastify? So then ChatGPT makes a QR code, and it's always free, okay? And then you can use that QR code throughout the whole year if you want to. So the kids go on their iPads, they go to the photo app, not the photo app, the camera. They go to the camera and they scan the QR code with the camera on their iPad, and then they can watch the video, okay? So that's really, really cool. I love Screencastify, and I use it a lot. So the very, very beginning of the year, I started off with Applesauce Day. That was in September. And then I went to Career Day. And I teach by thematic unit, cross-curricular units. And so when I did Applesauce Day, I was doing apples during that time. When they listened to Career Day, then we were talking about community helpers during that time. And then in October, we turned to Bone Soup, which is good for Halloween. And then the Scarecrow's Hat, which is good for November, for autumn. And then for Christmas, we did The Littlest Reindeer. Okay, so these are just QR codes that I got from that ChatGPT made for me. I use ChatGPT a lot for my business and for my classroom. So they have this little lap desk right here. They sit at the lap desk. And then I have this poster, it's just 8.5 by 11. And then I just put that little poster on top of the lap desk here. And then they sit there with their iPad and listen to the story. Okay, very cool. So here's what the I Can cards say. I can listen to a book with my buddy. So you could have some reading buddies there with them. If you want a basket of stuffed animals, you can have them. They can listen to with a buddy. I can complete my center page. I can clean up my center. You can have headphones. Here's some headphone storage ideas right here with these little pockets that you have. You can hang it on the back of your door. Or my kids just store their headphones at their desk. They clip their headphones on the side of their desk. They have to wrap them up though. They can't leave the cord hanging down. So they wrap the cord and stick their headphones on the side of their desk. And then they take those with them to the listening center. Here's the center template. They're going to write their name, and it says the title, the author, the genre, and then illustrate the beginning, the middle, and the end. Now, if you had listened to the second day when I talked about my library center, this is the exact same page as the library center. They're going to retell the beginning, middle, and end. They can draw a picture, they can write a sentence, or they can do both. Okay, it's up to them. So Listening Center is really fun. And like I said, I love to use Screencastify for the YouTube videos. So you can have devices, headphones, tables and chairs, a lap desk, QR codes, books, CD players, book baskets, bean bags, however you want them to sit. Okay? So that's really fun. All right, so moving on to my theme center. My theme center is the one that I change with my new thematic unit. So my theme center changes every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the theme. Okay? So I'm going to go through all the different months with you and show you every single theme center that I have. Now, when I say I teach cross-curricular, that means I have a theme. So for example, when I teach, let's say that I teach Native Americans in November. So every single subject during those 2 to 3 weeks are all about Native Americans. The books that I read might have a Native American or Thanksgiving theme, okay? But the skills go with our standards, okay? This one was the very beginning of the year when I did my farmhouse theme, because remember I teach, I have a farmhouse color scheme with teal and farmhouse animals. So I do a farmhouse theme at the beginning in August. And then some things that I have at my theme center are books. I have the Draw Right Now book up here that they can draw a barn. I have puppets of farm animals. I have a little Lego tractor. I have finger puppets that have the story about the little red hen. And then I have a barn, a plastic barn at the bottom with a hay bale. And then I have plastic little farm animals that they can play with. Okay? So if I teach using a farmhouse theme, then every subject, reading will have a book about farm animals. And then writing will have a book about farm animals. Math will have a story problem about farm animals. Science might have a story, a book about farm animals using different properties. Okay, so I mean it's all related together. I like to do cross-curricular because the kids can make better connections that way. They remember things better that way, and that's just the way I love to teach. Okay, so here's the I Can cards. I can read, observe, and play games. I can complete my center page. I can clean up my center. And then here's your template. Illustrate a picture of your favorite item that you played in the theme center. So they're going to illustrate it and then they're going to write 2 sentences about it. So some things you can have in the theme center are posters, games, puzzles, puppets, felt board characters, thematic books, hands-on trinkets, hats, lab coats, models, and wooden figurines. So I have a model of the solar system right here, and then I have a model of a town right here. Okay, so the solar system obviously would be with objects in the sky theme, and then the town would be with community helpers. Okay, so I'm going to go through each month with you, show you my different theme centers. So I have a box for each theme center that I pull out that has all the different materials that I need. Even the posters are in the box, so it's all together. Okay, even the border that I use on the bulletin board is in the box. It's all together, okay? So I don't have to go hunt for everything. So this is apples, okay? So we have our posters about apples. Then I'll tell them the top shelf, just look, but don't touch, okay? So if you have anything fragile that's breakable or glass or anything that you don't want them to get mixed up or anything or messed up, on the top shelf, they cannot touch. They just look. And then everything on the bottom shelf they can play with, okay? So I've got like Johnny Appleseed, finger puppets down here, felt board apples, 10 apples up on top. So different apple themes. This one was my community helpers. So this one's really fun. I love to make the town at the top. These are the wooden figurines for making the town. But again, I tell them don't touch, just look, okay? And then on the bottom, I have like paper dolls. They can make, dress up a boy or a girl as a community helper. There's some hats they can dress up with. There's books they can read. There's puppets. In these little boxes, I have little trinkets for each thing, like a firehouse, fire truck, police car, and then posters that they can look at. Okay, this was October when we did owls. My kids love owls. They go crazy over owls. So I have a lot of owl figurines up here at the top. I have some owl skeletons that they can look at. I have feathers that they can look at. Just look, don't touch. And then I have the posters of all the different kinds of owls. And then at the bottom, again, I have puppets. I have felt board items. I have plastic owls, books that they can read. I have posters or pictures of the life cycle of the owl, the parts of the owl, the parts of the feathers. So that's about owls. Then I do bats. Okay, so then again, I have the life cycle of a bat up here. I have some bat books they can look at, posters of bats, finger puppets, books they can read, pictures of bats, all different kinds of stuffed animals, stuffed animal bats. And then Stella Luna there's also a puppet of Stella Luna, so I put her in there too. So that's really fun. And then moving on to Veterans Day. So Veterans Day, I have the different branches of the military up here with the posters, and then I have a vase jar with a rose, and that goes with the book America's White Table. That's a really good book. If you haven't read that one, it's really, really good. Then I have my eagle, and then Veterans Day American flag books. And at the bottom, I have some soldiers, military soldiers, tanks and airplanes they can play with for the different branches of the military. I have books they can read. So that's really fun for Veterans Day. And then moving on to December, I do Christmas in Germany. I do Christmas around the world, but I love to do Christmas in Germany as like the big umbrella. So this is one of the countries that we do. So I have posters of different things that they have in Germany for Christmas. And the top shelf, remember, they can't touch, they just look. So gingerbread, a gingerbread train, a gingerbread house. And then the bottom, there's puppets, there's a felt board, they can decorate a gingerbread house. There's gingerbread books they can read, and trinkets they can play with for Germany. So really fun, fun. And then in January, which I'm going to start this one when we get back next week, is Famous Inventors. Okay, so I have some of the posters of the famous inventors, like Thomas Edison, the Wright brothers, Alexander Graham Bell. I also add on here Snowflake Bentley because it's wintertime, and I like to talk about Snowflake Bentley as an inventor. So that's really fun. I have an old-time telephone down here they can play with. I have magnifying glasses, a microscope, and then old cars, little metal cars I just bought from Amazon. I have glasses, the little spectacles from Benjamin Franklin. What else? Old keys, like golden keys I got from Amazon. And then these little light bulbs. I have questions on the light bulbs that they have to answer. So those are really fun. They really, really love famous inventors. And then if you do objects in the sky, if you teach kindergarten, I know you still have objects in the sky as one of your standards. So here's posters of the planets and some of the stars, constellations, and then I have some space shuttle figurines, astronaut figurines, moon rocks, and then at the bottom there's puzzles, there's stencils, there's books, there's astronauts, there's different constellations they can look at for objects in the sky. This one is American symbols and presidents for February. Again, I have all the American symbols up here, and I have the different flags that were from the United States, and then all the different monuments here, like Mount Rushmore, the Liberty Bell, and then I have the Statue of Liberty, and there's some puppets down here of George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, and then some Civil War figurines from the Civil War, and then the North and South soldiers. And then some of the coins that we used to have, and then a famous monument book that they can look at. And then in March, we do Texas. We do a big March, Texas unit in March. And so we have the Texas symbols up here. We have different things that they can look at, like pecans, which is our state tree, and then the Alamo, the bluebonnet. There's a felt board that they can play with, different Texas symbols. There's the Alamo that they can play with soldiers. There's the Texas puzzle. And then, of course, lots of Texas books that they can look at. Okay? You can do that with any state, with any of your states. Then in April, we go on to rainforests. In rainforests, we talk about plants, we talk about life cycles, we talk about endangered animals, and we do research. We research an endangered animal. So these are some of the endangered animals from the rainforest. And then I have these plastic life cycle animals from Amazon, plastic animals, rainforest. And again, there's stencils down here. There's a puzzle they can make. They can build together. And there's like snakes and lizards and all kinds of birds that they can play with down there. Okay. And then for rocks and fossils, we have the layers of the earth, we have the layers of the soil, and then we have different rocks. So I just put pictures of igneous rocks, metamorphic rocks, sedimentary rocks. And then I put rocks on the top shelf they can look at. Here's a rock book, Rocks and Fossils. There's different rocks and puzzles they can look at down here. In the basket, there's different fossils they can look at. And then there's books they can read. So lots of different rocks and fossils they can look at. They really love rocks and fossils. And then in May, we go on to a fairy tale unit. I love doing fairy tales. And when I do fairy tales, that's when we review all of these skills that we have learned in reading. And we apply all those skills to our fairy tale books. So there's puppets down here. There's a castle they can play with. There's a puzzle. There's a dress-up princess. They can dress her up. So I have a lot of different characters up here from different fairy tales. So that's really fun. And then the last but not least, we do ocean at the very end of the year. My ocean unit kind of wraps everything up at the very end, getting ready for summer. And then here's the different fish and sharks and whales that live in the ocean. And then I have shells. I have starfish that go on the top shelf. Lots of shells they can look at the bottom. Stencils, cookie cutters with fish that can trace. And then I have sharks and whales at the very bottom that are plastic that they can play with, okay? So that's a lot of theme centers, okay? And you have to realize that I've been teaching for 26 years, and so I've been collecting a lot of things over the years. But just to give you some ideas, you might want to try one of those. All right, so moving on to finger puppets. Finger puppets stay the same all year, okay? Finger puppets are so easy. You just need one of those big fuzzy gloves that they can put their finger puppets on. And then I have a basket at the top here. This is behind my big book stand. The basket has finger puppets in it. There's the template for the center page. And then I have these teal baskets that actually have story that go with the story and the finger puppets in the basket. And I have them labeled. And I tell them you have to put the finger puppets back in the right box, please, okay? There's two ways I've done this. So I've done this on the back of my big book stand, which I have right now. And I've also used crates. So if you are, in a classroom that's kind of small and you don't have very much room or space, these crates are really helpful to set up your centers. You can stack the crates on top of each other and put a different center, like a different box inside of each crate that they take out. So that's really helpful if you have a little bitty space to try to have more centers, okay? So the I Can cards say I can play with my favorite puppets. I can complete my center page. I can clean up my center. And here's the template. It says illustrate the puppets that you played with today and then write a story about your puppets. So they're going to write a story at the bottom. So you're going to need assorted puppets like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Little Red Riding Hood, the Three Billy Goats Gruff, the Three Little Pigs, Cat in the Hat, 5 Little Ducks, 5 Little Speckled Frogs, 5 Little Monkeys. So you can have those little puppets there that they can put on their fingers or they can put on their glove to tell a story. Those are really fun. And those stay the same all year. All year. Okay, science. Science stays the same all year. So, science, I have the posters on the wall that are the scientific method. So it says, ask a question, make a hypothesis, plan an investigation, experiment, draw conclusions. So I have these teal boxes at the top. And inside those teal boxes, I have dinosaurs. I have machines. I have insects. I have ocean unit. I have ocean like shells. I have fossils, rocks and fossils, weather, rainforests, plants, reptiles. Oh, sorry. Let me go back. And then on the bottom, I have a tub that has science books, like Magic School Bus books. Magic School Bus books are really cool. And then I also have, let's see, I have different trinkets at the bottom. So like I have rocks and fossils. I have bones. I have, let's see, I have a weather kit that has weather tools on it. And then some pictures of butterflies, just little things that you can find out in nature. So like any bones or fossils, skulls of animals, like antlers from deer, horns from a goat, red wasp nest. Of course, that's empty, right? I also have porcupine quills that are inside of a little box. So yeah. And then microphones, magnifying glasses that they can look at. So in your science center, you can have magnets with rainforests. You can have rainforest things, birds, dinosaurs, ocean things, space things, weather, plants, rocks and fossils, science books. So the I Can cards say, I can read, observe, and play with science games. I can complete my center page. I can clean up my center. So you need magnifying glasses, and then you can use magnets with the magnetic wands here. And then the template says, illustrate your favorite science activity today. Okay, so they're going to illustrate it right here, and then write 2 sentences about what they observed. So again, in these little baskets right here have labels on the front, and I have these labels that I'm going to put in the file section for y'all today. These are labels that you can put on your baskets or your tubs. Okay? That are really fun. So again, when I tell the kids to put these away, I tell them to put the put the label to the front so we can see the labels. So the next child that goes there, they know what they're getting. Okay, so it's not backwards. All right, so the next one is the game center. Okay, do you guys have a game center? Let me know if you have a game center. And let me know what kind of activities that you put in your game center. Okay, I know some teachers like to have a game center. So I have a picnic table. And, or you could use a little table, whatever, or they can sit on the carpet. You don't have to have a table. But I like this picnic table because the seats flip up and there's storage inside the seats. And so I put games inside the seats. Okay, so I use this picnic table as their game station. Game center. So here are some games that I have, or that you could have if you want. You could have Uno cards. You could have Candyland, Chutes and Ladders, checkers, chess, headbands. They love headbands. Jenga, Battleship, Operation, Trouble, Monopoly Junior, Let's Go Fishing, Scrabble Junior, and Sorry. Okay, so the I Can cards say I can play games with my partner. I can complete my center page. I can clean up my center. Okay. So the template over here says illustrate a picture of the game that you played today. So they're going to illustrate the picture. Let's say they played Candyland, so they're going to draw Candyland. Who was your partner today? They're going to write who was their partner. What game did you play? Answer that. Who won the game? What game will you play next time? Okay. So just fun little games. And then there going to be 2 people at this center if you choose to have a game center. And so just tell them that they have to whisper. They have to whisper. Okay. All right. The next center. Oh, by the way, and game stays the same all year. Drama stays the same all year long. So drama, I have this puppet theater that they use with puppets. And so here's my puppet stand. And on the puppet stand, I have like a prince and princess. I have a wizard. I have a dragon. I have a butterfly. I have farm animals. So they stand behind the drama center, the drama puppet theater, and they use 2 puppets at a time. And I tell them they have to put on a puppet show. Now, my drama center is kind of in the back of the room, kind of away from where the kids are sitting, so the other kids don't get distracted, because it's very easy for the kids that are still working at their desk to watch the puppet show that's going on over here. So I try to hide the drama center away, put it in a little corner somewhere behind something so that I can't really, the other kids don't get distracted. So I tell them they have to whisper. If they're using violence with my puppets, I tell them, one strike and you're out. We are not using violence. So if you're hitting the puppets together, they're fighting or they're hitting, I'm sorry. You cannot do that with my puppets because you might break them. You might tear them. So you're going to put your head down. And so I'm really strict with that. And I always follow through with one strike and you're out. I don't give them any second chances. If they have to put their head down for the day, they lose their whole center time for the day. They can try again the next day, but for that day, they have to sit and put their head down. They can take their center template with them to their desk, and they could write on their center template and when they put their head down. So once they put their head down, it's very unlikely that they will do it again. Very unlikely, but sometimes they try to work the system. They really do. Okay, and I still have kids that have to put their head down, but I just have to make sure that I'm being consistent with one strike and you're out. Okay, I don't give them second chances at all. Oh, and they have to owe me bonus bucks when they put their head down. Too bad, so sad, right? Okay, so the I Can cards say, I can put on a play with puppets. I can complete my center page. I can clean up my center. And then the template says, I'll illustrate the puppets in your play. So if they use the wizard and the princess, they're going to draw the wizard and the princess. And then they're going to answer the questions. What is the title of your play? Where is the setting? Who are the characters? What was the problem and solution? And what is the genre? Well, mostly the genre is going to be fiction. And then here's some examples of some puppets that you can have. And then it's like the 3 Billy Goats Gruff, the 3 Little Pigs, Little Red Riding Hood, Goldilocks and 3 Bears. And then here is the stand, the puppet stand that I have. Okay? So they stand just like she's doing. They stand behind here and then they do their puppet show. So it's really cute. It's really fun. So you could have your puppet stand, your puppet theater. You could have fairy tale puppets, farm puppets, zoo puppets, book character puppets. Right? All right, I'm going to go over really quick to this slide that says, how can I differentiate my centers? So some of you like to differentiate your centers, and that is perfect. That's awesome. Here's some ways that I do that. For math especially, you can have 3 different colored tubs. I have a green tub, I have a red tub, and I have a yellow tub. So the green tub is the below level, the red tub is the on level, and the yellow tub is the above level, okay? So it says, I use 3 different color tubs with different centers according to the student's level. This can be done very easily for math, for phonics, for reading, or writing. Give your students a colored dot sticker on their name tag so they know which tub and activities to complete. After you take an assessment, their tub color might change according to their data. This can be a great data to track in their student data folder. Their goal is to get to the above level tub. So, if you do math, like I like to do math, differentiate math, then I'm going to have 3 different levels of activities. So on the data from their assessment that we took last month, I would look at their data, and those kids that made, let's say if they made a 70 to 79 or 79 below, that would be below level, okay? So I would put activities in the green tub that would reflect what they need help with, okay? So if they need help with addition and subtraction, or they need help with number sense, then that's the activity that they would play. And so on their name tag, they would have a green dot sticker. So they know when they go to the math center, they only can play out of the green tub. Okay. And then if they made an 80 to 89, then they can have the on level. That would be the red tub. Okay. So then those activities will reflect what they need help with the red tub. That would be on level. And then the above level would be 90 to 100, or however you want to do it. You can be 95 to 100. And so those will be your kids that are soaring, and those really high level kids with math. They need more challenging things. And so if your admin comes in and asks you, how are you differentiating your math block? Then you can say, well, I have these different colored tubs that I use and I use data from my assessment, and then I do different activities according to what needs they need. So whatever skills they need is in the tub that they can practice. Okay. So when they go to the math center, of course they can play with all the other things, but if you really want to have differentiation, you would only offer these 3 colors. Okay. And then as the year goes on, then you can maybe color code your activities in the math center. You can put colored dots on the activity that match. So let's say that they need help with the 10 frame. You can put a green dot sticker on the 10 frame that they can do. So if you're a green sticker, you can play with the 10 frame. If you have story problems, they can read a story problem and then make a story problem on their math mat. That might be the red or the yellow. They can have a red or yellow dot. So you can just color coordinate the activities in your center to differentiate with your kids. Okay. So that's just, some suggestions that you can do. You can do this with phonics also. Phonics is really easy to do it with, because there's different levels of phonics, like word families, short vowel, long vowel, blends, digraphs, phonograms. Oh gosh, phonograms are so hard for them. So anyway, you can differentiate that way too. Okay, I'm going to go back to talk about my membership. So I don't know if you guys, I know Susan is here and she's in my membership. So Susan, I hope that you're still enjoying the membership. Oh, did you find the Literacy Center resource that you were looking for, Susan? I hope you found it. Okay. So I have 3 different levels of membership, and so level 1 is the basic level, which is $20 a month, and this has 400 plus TPT resources. So if you really, really like what I'm teaching you this week and you really love my resources that are in the file section, I've got 400 of them that are from my TPT store, and they're all in the membership. And they're all categorized by different months, okay, and different subjects, okay? So anytime that you need, if you're in a jam and you really need a resource for math or you really need a resource for reading, you can go look it up and then you can find it really quick and download it. It's really easy. So you're going to be in a private Facebook group, which is this group right here that you're in right now. Oh, good, Susan. I'm so glad you found it. That's great. And then you get monthly coaching calls with me with monthly trainings. Okay, so my Literacy Center Reboot is considered my coaching call for the month of December and January. And then you get YouTube videos, blog posts, and podcast episodes uploaded in the membership, and cross-curricular webinars that are also in the membership. And then level 2 is the same basic thing, except for you have 3 courses that are added to this one, which are worth 6 PD hours each. Okay, so because I'm CPE certified, CPE stands for Continuing Professional Development. Okay, if you don't know. Level 2 is $30 a month, and it's got the same thing that level 1 has, except it has 3 courses. So these courses are completely self-paced. And then when you finish the course, then you can just message me and say, hey, I finished the course. I need 6 PD hours. So these are really good to do in the summertime. And you don't have to register for anything. They're already there for you. Okay? Because I know in my school district, you need 18 hours per year. So that's 18 hours right there. The 3 courses are my From Scribbles to Stories, which is my writer's workshop, how to launch writer's workshop from day 1. Then Math Workshop Magic, which is how to launch Math Workshop from day 1. And then my boot camp, which is the first 10 days of every single subject for the very beginning of school. First 10 days of reading, first 10 days of writing, first 10 days of phonics, first 10 days of science, first 10 days of social studies, plus it has literacy centers, plus it has behavior management. Okay, so that's level 2. Level 3 is the same level 2 has, except now you're going to get 5 subscription boxes. Okay, My subscription boxes are going to be starting in January this month. I'm going to be mailing them out at the end of this month, and they're going to be Valentine's Valentine's centers that are holiday related. So math, Valentine's, or writing, you have a choice. Okay, or you can have the Valentine's, Easter, back to school, Halloween, Christmas. Okay, so if you choose the writing, you're going to get the whole year of writing centers already in a box. They're already laminated for you. They're already together for you. All the supplies that you need are in the box. You just set it up. If you need the math center, if you want the math centers, you've got math activities and math games in the box that are already laminated and there for you. All the products that you need for your center, for your differentiation or whatever is already there for you. It's already there. You can just set it up. Okay? So you get 5 subscription boxes with level 3. You get everything that level 2 has. Okay? So I'm going to show you an example. This is an example of my math centers that you're going to get, you can get for Valentine's Day. So for February, so in the box you have some ice cube trays that are shaped like hearts. And you've got an activity that says fill my heart, which goes with those counters. You have Valentine counters. And then in the box you also are going to have directions on how to teach these games to your kids. Okay, there's directions in there. There's Bump. I know a lot of you like to play Bump. Here's the holiday math map that they can read. Here's the story problems that they can read. If you have high flyers, definitely have them read story problems and make a story problem. You can use the holiday erasers to make their story problem. You're going to have In and Out. In and Out is so fun. You can teach that game one time and it's set for the whole year. You're going to have the colored dice that you need for In and Out, for Bump. So everything's already in the box. You're going to have clear plastic sleeves already there so the kids can write on them. And it's already there. You just have to set it up. So that's the holiday math one. And it's going to change. So it'll be Valentine's and then Easter. Easter will have the same activities except they're just Easter themed. Okay. And then back to school, Halloween and Christmas. So the writing center, if you choose the writing center, you're going to have all of these toppers already cut out and laminated for you. You can have the Valentine writing sign already cut out and laminated for you. You're going to have all these templates ready to go. And then you're going to have the Post-it notes. You're going to have the stickers. And you're going to have cards. Okay. So I'm going to also have the examples of all of these posters in there also that you can use. And if you want to use your own example, if you want to use your own example, that's perfectly fine. Or you could copy mine and make your own, So all of those things are in the box. The pins, the Valentine pins are also in the box too. Okay. So those are my subscription boxes. So let's take a peek inside. I'm going to let you guys look real quick. I'm going to let you take a look inside my membership so you know what it looks like, okay? All right, so when you log into Kajabi, this is what it looks like. At the top, it has My Library. It has a login, so you're going to have to remember your login information. It has username and password. And then my podcast is right here. So you click on my podcast. And if you don't know, I have a podcast and which is updated every week. So all of my podcast episodes are all here. There's 91 episodes that you can listen to. I'm also putting our Literacy Center Reboot into my podcast episodes, so you can listen to those there if you choose to. Okay. All right. So you go to My Library. You click on My Library at the top, and then what it's going to do is it's going to show you all the different courses and memberships that you have. Okay. So let's go into level 2 here. Here's level 2. Okay, it has a welcome video right here. And then this is the important part to understand. So over here are all the modules. And so it has back to school, September resources, October resources, November resources, December resources, January, February, March, April, May. And then you go to show more. There's more. Okay, then we go to writer's workshop. We go to reader's workshop. We go to math workshop, procedural writing, farmhouse decor, Fahrenheit Friday science investigations, behavior management, fairy tales, literacy centers, cross-curricular units. Okay? So let's go over to, let me show you one. Let's go to January because it's January now. So we're going to click on January. Now in January, you have a webinar training. You have a training that I did in my Facebook group. I have a large Facebook group called Create Your Balance with Literacy. So Ramona, I don't know if you're a member of that group, but you can certainly join that group. It's called Create Your Balance with Literacy. And every month I have free webinars in there. And so I always talk to you about the cross-curricular activities that I'm going to be doing for the following month. So if you click on this,
All About Me, Apples, Community
you
Helpers,
have a video
Christopher
that you can
Columbus,
watch
Pumpkins,
here.
Owls, Bats,
Okay, there's a video with me. And then if you go down, it says blog post. So here's 2 blog posts that you can look at if you want. And then scroll down some more, and then it has downloads. So all of these downloads, these are all of my TPT products, resources that I have put on TPT. And these are all for January. So here's Famous Inventors, cross-curricular lesson plans for winter, the North Star, Snowman at Night, Jan Brett, author study, Old Lady Who Swallowed Some Snow, The 3 Snow Bears. I'm just reading some of them here. How to Make Hot Chocolate, The Mitten, The Hat, Sneezy the Snowman, Annie and the Wild Animals. Okay, so all those downloads, that's important so you know where they are, and then you just click on the resource, and then you can download it. But it's there whenever you want to have it. Okay. All right. So go back to my library, and then here's the membership, the course From Scribbles to Stories. And then here's the Math Workshop Magic course that's worth 6 CPE hours. And here's the boot camp that is worth 6 CPE hours. Okay. So that's what it looks like in a nutshell. So just so you know how to get there. But you're going to get, if you register, you're going to get a link from Kajabi. And then it will give you a username and password. Okay. All right. So let me see. Oh, and the best part is that you can try out my membership for 7-day trial for free. Okay. For free for 7 days. And after 7 days, if you don't like it and it's not what you want, you can unsubscribe. It is not a big deal. Okay. But most of the teachers that go in the membership that try it for 7 days, they're like, oh yes, I definitely want this because it's convenient, right? You don't have to look in TPT anymore. You don't have to look at Pinterest anymore. It's all there for you. Okay. Let's see. Susan says, what would it cost if we'd like both math and writing? Oh, that's a great question. Let me get back to you on that, Susan. I'm not really sure. But what you can do, because I'm just starting this out and I don't want it to be too overwhelming. What you can do is this year you can do like the math, and then next year you could do the writing. So you could switch off if you want to do it that way. But let me think about that because that's a great question. I never thought about that, but thanks for asking. So there's already a link in the comments at the very, very top, the link to check out my membership if you want to check it out. Okay. And you remember, you get it 7 days for free. Yay. Okay. So, if you are already in my membership and you want to bump up a level, just let me know, message me, on Facebook Messenger, and I can cancel your subscription in the current level, and then I can bump you up to the next level. It's not a problem. Okay. So Q&As, remember tomorrow is going to be our last training, and it's going to be a Q&A, and I'm going to compile all your questions for the whole week all together. And then I'm going to put all your names in a raffle if you asked a question, and then draw a name to win an Amazon gift card, okay? Now, this Facebook group is going to be open for 2 weeks. If you are not in my membership, then I have to take you out after 2 weeks. But you are welcome to join my big Facebook group, which is called Create Your Balance with Literacy, so you can still get my free webinars, okay? I also give away free resources in my big Facebook group also. So make sure you join that one, okay? But if you stay in my membership, you get to stay in this Facebook group, and then you get all the coaching calls and all the other trainings that are offered with the membership. So it's really cool. All right, so it has been exactly an hour, and I hope that I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's training will be at 10 a.m. in the morning, and then if you miss it, if you don't get to watch it, it's okay, because you can watch these trainings for 2 weeks. They'll be available for you for 2 weeks, okay? So I hope to see you guys tomorrow at 10, and I love you, and until next time, let's take your classroom to the next level. Bye, guys. Have a good evening. Mwah.